What are you willing to lose in order to finally live the life you keep dreaming about? That question may feel heavy, even uncomfortable, because deep down you already know the truth. Nothing changes without a cost. Every step forward demands you leave something behind. And yet, most people spend their entire lives clutching tightly to comfort, routine, and approval, never realizing that these are the very chains keeping them from the freedom they crave. The dream is real, the potential is real, but so is the price. If you want transformation, it will not come cheap. It will cost you the version of yourself that has been too afraid to act. Think about the times you promised yourself change but stayed the same. It wasn't because you lacked ability. It wasn't because you lacked intelligence. It was because the cost felt too high. The thought of letting go of comfort, the fear of rejection, or the weight of uncertainty made you freeze in place. That hesitation was the silent voice of resistance telling you that safety was worth more than growth. But ask yourself honestly, how safe is safety if it keeps you stuck? How secure is your comfort zone if it's quietly suffocating you, keeping you smaller than you were meant to be? The mind is wired to protect what feels familiar. It clings to the known, even if the known is unfulfilling. Psychologists call it loss aversion, the idea that losing something feels far more painful than gaining something feels rewarding. But here is the irony. By holding on to what is comfortable, you are already losing something far greater. You are losing time. You are losing opportunities. You are losing the chance to become who you were born to be. The very act of avoiding loss guarantees the greatest loss of all, a life that never reaches its full potential. Imagine for a moment the cost of not changing. Imagine reaching the end of your days knowing you never truly lived. That fear of sacrifice robbed you of greatness. That picture alone should make you pause. Because regret is the most expensive bill you will ever pay, and it collects interest with every year you waste. Yet in front of you is a choice. Yes, it will cost you everything. It will demand your excuses, your comfort, your need for approval, and your old identity. But in exchange, it offers freedom, strength, and fulfillment so powerful that the cost will look small compared to what you gain. Stay with this message because the truth you're about to hear is not meant to scare you. It is meant to liberate you. By the time you finish, you will see that the price of transformation is not destruction, it is rebirth. Every sacrifice you make clears space for the life you were destined to live. And when you understand that, paying the price will no longer feel like loss, but the greatest investment of your life. Safety feels like comfort, but in reality it is the greatest thief of all. It whispers to you that staying where you are is wise, that holding on to the familiar will protect you from pain. Yet what it truly does is drain you silently day after day until you wake up one morning and realize years have slipped through your hands. Safety is not neutral. It is not harmless. It steals dreams in exchange for routines. It trades passion for predictability. It keeps you busy surviving but never truly alive. The cost of safety is invisible at first, but in the end it becomes the heaviest burden you will ever carry. Your mind is built to chase what feels familiar. The brain craves patterns because it equates familiarity with survival. But you are not here to simply survive. You are here to expand, to grow, to create something that didn't exist before. And that cannot happen inside the walls of the familiar. Every time you choose safety over growth, you reinforce the cage. You make the bars stronger. You convince yourself that one day you will break free, but one day never comes unless you choose to step into risk now. Comfort pretends to be a friend, but it is a deceiver that promises peace while stealing your purpose. Think about the price of choosing what feels easy. For a moment you escape discomfort, but in exchange you sacrifice the fire inside you that craves more. You give up your own evolution for the temporary relief of staying the same. And though the world may applaud you for being practical, though people may nod approvingly when you avoid risk, deep inside you know you are betraying yourself. You know you are built for more, but safety convinces you to stay small. That inner conflict is why so many feel empty despite having everything they thought they wanted. They settled for the easy road and discovered too late that it leads nowhere worth going. The truth is, safety has a price far higher than courage. Courage demands discomfort, effort, and sacrifice. But safety demands your future. It demands your joy. It demands every possibility you could have touched had you been willing to pay the smaller price of growth. That is the trade nobody tells you about. If you refuse to pay with sweat, with persistence, with vulnerability, you will still pay, but with regret, with bitterness, with a life that feels unfinished. The choice is brutal but clear. You can hold on to safety and watch your dreams slip away, or you can step into risk and watch your life expand in ways you never imagined. Nothing worthwhile is ever secure in the beginning, but nothing fulfilling is ever built without stepping into uncertainty. When you understand this, safety loses its hold on you. You begin to see it for what it truly is, the most dangerous cost of all. Fear rises the moment you step outside the familiar. It tightens your chest, fills your mind with doubts, and paints pictures of everything that could go wrong. Fear convinces you the cost of change is too high, that stepping forward will lead to pain, rejection, or failure. But most of what fear shows you is a lie. It magnifies shadows until they look like monsters. It repeats old stories of failure until they feel like destiny. Fear is not a wall. Fear is a mirror reflecting the chains you still refuse to break. Your brain is wired to exaggerate risk. It is designed to protect you from danger. But in a world where most threats are imagined, fear has become the greatest obstacle to your potential. That feeling of dread, that urge to turn back, is rarely a warning of real harm. It is the echo of your comfort zone begging you to stay. The truth is, the more fear you feel about a step, the more important that step likely is. Fear doesn't point to danger, it points to destiny. The places that scare you most are often the places that will grow you most. Every dream comes with fear attached. The bigger the dream, the louder the fear. Yet fear itself has no power. The power comes from the meaning you give it. If you treat fear as a stop sign, you will never move. If you treat fear as a signal that you are stepping into growth, it becomes fuel. The body reacts with adrenaline, the mind sharpens, and energy rises. Fear can paralyze you, or it can prepare you. The choice is yours. Consider the price of surrendering to fear. Each time you back away, you strengthen the belief that you are too weak to move forward. Each time you retreat, you reinforce the cage that keeps you small. Fear is not just a feeling, it is a habit. The more you obey it, the more it controls you, and slowly, without realizing it, you build a life that is ruled not by vision but by avoidance. This is the hidden cost of fear. Not only what you lose today, but what you teach yourself to keep losing tomorrow. But imagine what happens when you face it. The very moment you step into fear, it begins to shrink. The wall you thought was solid turns out to be smoke. The chains you thought were unbreakable dissolve in your hands. Each act of courage reprograms your mind. It proves to you that fear was never the enemy. Fear was the test. And the more you face it, the more power you reclaim over your own life. True freedom is on the other side of fear. That is why it feels so heavy, so overwhelming before you break through. Fear guards the doorway to everything you desire, but it cannot stop you unless you let it. When you pay fear's price, you purchase strength, clarity, and the life that only courage can give. Fear is not the final barrier. The greater price comes after, when you realize that holding on to your old self will keep you from becoming who you are meant to be. Transformation is not simply about adding new habits or chasing new goals. It is about death, the death of the person you once were, the death of the identity that felt safe but kept you limited. You cannot walk into a new life while dragging the weight of the old one. Every belief, every excuse, every weakness that defined you must be released. This is not cruelty, this is rebirth. The ego resists this truth. It clings to the familiar version of you because that is where it feels control. The moment you start to grow, the ego panics. It reminds you of who you have always been, insisting you stay the same. It tells you that letting go means losing yourself. But the reality is the opposite. Letting go of the old is the only way to find your real self. The person you thought you were is not the person you truly are. That version was shaped by fears, by doubts, by other people's expectations. To hold on is to stay imprisoned by an identity that was never complete. Psychology teaches us that identity is fluid, constantly being reshaped by experiences and choices. Yet most people act as if their identity is fixed, as if the way they see themselves is permanent. This belief creates stagnation. You are not meant to protect who you are now, you are meant to become more. The self you defend today is only the seed of the self you could be tomorrow. But the seed must break before the tree can rise. The shell must die for the life inside to grow. This death is painful because it feels like loss, but it is not loss, it is release. You are not destroying yourself. You are shedding everything that no longer belongs to you. The fear, the doubt, the weakness. These are not parts of you worth protecting. They are chains. And transformation requires you to lay them down, even when it feels like laying down pieces of your identity. The pain of letting go is temporary, but the pain of holding on is endless. There is no path to greatness without this inner death. You cannot carry the old patterns into a new destiny. You cannot cling to the old identity while demanding a higher one. Something must be surrendered. Something must be buried. Only then does strength rise. Only then does clarity come. Only then do you feel the power of a life not weighed down by who you used to be. This is the cost of transformation. To lose yourself is to find yourself. To bury the old is to awaken the new. To die to weakness is to rise in power. Once the old self is released, the path demands something even harder, the price of discipline. This is where most people turn back because the cost is not a one-time payment. It is daily. It is constant. Discipline strips away the illusion of quick fixes and demands steady commitment. It asks you to give up laziness, excuses, and the endless craving for instant gratification. It requires you to endure the discomfort of showing up when you don't feel like it, pushing forward when your body screams for rest, and choosing the harder path over the easy distraction. Discipline is sacrifice in its purest form. It is the decision to trade temporary pleasure for permanent fulfillment. Every time you resist the pull of comfort, you pay a piece of the price. Every time you choose consistency over impulse, you make a deposit into your future. And while discipline feels painful in the moment, it is the only currency that builds a life of power, meaning, and achievement. The body resists it. The mind rebels against it, but the soul is strengthened by it. Discipline is not punishment. It is the proof that you value the future more than the fleeting urge of the present. Your brain is wired to crave quick rewards. It lights up when you give in to comfort, when you choose the path of least resistance. But lasting success is built on delayed gratification, the ability to endure discomfort now for a greater reward later. Every great transformation is anchored in this truth. Without discipline, desire is powerless. Without structure, dreams dissolve into fantasies. You can have vision, passion, and hope, but if you lack discipline, nothing changes. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. The pain of discipline is sharp but short-lived. The pain of regret lasts forever. Think about what it feels like to look back at opportunities you abandoned because you didn't stay consistent. That hollow ache is heavier than any temporary discomfort you feel when choosing discipline. Each day you avoid the price, you push your dreams further away. Each day you pay it, you move closer to a life that only a disciplined soul can earn. You cannot cheat this process. You cannot find a shortcut. The cost is real, and it must be paid. Discipline will demand more than motivation. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning when the spark fades. It is not about waiting to feel inspired. It is about choosing to act even when inspiration is gone. Discipline is the unshakable decision that you will not betray your future for the sake of temporary relief. When you live by this truth, life bends in your favor. Every moment of sacrifice compounds into strength, and strength compounds into victory. The price is heavy, but the reward is everything. Discipline tests your body and mind, but the journey goes deeper when it begins to test your heart. The road of transformation will strip away not only your comfort, but also your connections. When you choose growth, you will discover that not everyone around you is willing to walk the same path. Some will misunderstand you. Some will resist you. Some will quietly pull away because your progress reminds them of their own stagnation. This is the loneliness of the path, and it is one of the highest costs you will be asked to pay. Humans are wired for belonging. We crave acceptance, approval, and connection. It is built into our psychology to fear rejection, because rejection once meant survival was at risk. But growth often means stepping away from the crowd. It means choosing principles over popularity, purpose over acceptance. And when you do, the cost becomes clear. People you once leaned on may no longer stand beside you. The circle shrinks. The cheers fade. What felt like support turns into silence. This emptiness can break the unprepared, but for those who endure it, it becomes the proof that they are walking the right road. The truth is simple but harsh. Not everyone is meant to follow you into your next chapter. Some relationships were built for comfort, not for growth. Some friendships were formed around who you were, not who you are becoming. To carry them with you would only slow your climb. Loneliness in this season is not abandonment. It is alignment. It filters out those who were never meant to go where you are going. And though it hurts, it is necessary. Because only when you walk through loneliness do you learn to stand in the strength of your own vision. Do not mistake this isolation as weakness. It is not proof that you are failing. It is evidence that you are evolving. Greatness has always been a narrow road, and few are willing to walk it. Loneliness becomes the fire that hardens your resolve. It sharpens your focus, strengthens your independence, and forces you to build trust not in the crowd, but in yourself. What once felt like rejection becomes a sacred test of endurance. The silence around you becomes the space where clarity and conviction are born. The cost of loneliness is heavy, but the reward is purity. You are no longer defined by who approves of you. You are no longer bound by the fear of disappointing others. You are free to walk forward without permission. And in time, the right people, those aligned with your vision, those who understand the weight of your journey, will find you. But even if they don't, you will already know the truth. The path is not about being surrounded. The path is about becoming unshakable. Loneliness is not a curse. It is the crucible that proves you are strong enough to carry the weight of destiny. Every sacrifice, every moment of fear faced, every ounce of discipline paid, all of it leads to the ultimate reward, though it is invisible at first. Transformation is not a transaction, it is a process. And the reward is not handed to you. It is earned through relentless commitment, through paying the full price, through showing up even when nothing seems to change. What you gain when you fully commit is more than success, more than recognition, more than temporary satisfaction. You gain alignment with yourself, a clarity that cannot be taken, and a power that grows with every step you dare to take. The world often measures achievement by external markers, wealth, status, applause, but the true reward of sacrifice is internal. It is the quiet confidence of knowing you did not settle. It is the strength to face anything life throws at you because you have already conquered the hardest battles, your own hesitation, your own doubt, your own comfort. The reward is not easy. It is not flashy. It is subtle yet permanent. It is the ability to move through life without the weight of regret dragging you down. It is freedom. Freedom from the chains of fear, laziness, and approval seeking. Every decision to endure pain, to endure discomfort, compounds over time. Psychology shows that repeated effort, sustained over months and years, rewires the brain. Every act of courage strengthens neural pathways. Every habit of discipline becomes automatic. Every moment you step into discomfort reshapes your identity. The cost you paid begins to return to you exponentially, in ways that are tangible and invisible. Strength becomes your default. Resilience becomes your instinct. Vision becomes your compass. The life you once only imagined starts to solidify into reality. This is why the price is worth it. What you lose in the process, the comfort, the approval, the safety, is negligible compared to what you gain. Every sacrifice becomes a foundation. Every moment of isolation builds independence. Every challenge faced becomes a proof of your own power. When you finally look back, you realize that nothing you feared losing was truly necessary, and everything you gained was priceless. The pain of paying the price fades, and the clarity of living fully replaces it. The cost was high, but the life you now inhabit is priceless. Understand this clearly. Paying everything does not end with reward. It begins a new cycle. Every stage of growth demands a price, and the higher you climb, the higher the stakes. But with each payment comes an unmatched return, strength, purpose, courage, and freedom that cannot be measured in dollars or applause. The reward is not simply survival, it is the mastery of your own life. And when you experience it, you understand that the cost was not a burden, but a doorway. Every ounce of sweat, every tear, every moment of fear endured was the toll for a life that is fully, unapologetically yours. The final truth is unavoidable. Mediocrity costs nothing, but it steals everything. Choosing the easy road, staying within comfort, avoiding risk. It may feel safe, it may feel painless, but the toll it takes is invisible until it is too late. Time slips away, opportunities vanish, and dreams fade quietly in the background. You do not notice the slow drain at first, but one day you will look around and realize that by refusing to pay the price, you have lost your chance to live fully. The cost of avoiding sacrifice is heavier than any hardship you will endure while pursuing greatness. Every choice matters. Every day is a decision between the temporary ease of the familiar and the long-term gain of courage. Each small compromise adds up, and each moment of fear obeyed strengthens the chains that bind you. Avoiding discomfort seems harmless, but it creates a life of quiet regret, a life where potential is wasted and vision is unfulfilled. You cannot escape this truth. The cost is real, and it is accumulating whether you face it or not. Every moment you settle, every time you give up before the struggle, you are paying with your future, paying with your freedom, paying with your chance to become the person you were meant to be. The choice before you is brutal yet simple. You can surrender to the ease of mediocrity, or you can step fully into the discomfort that leads to transformation. There is no middle ground. To achieve something extraordinary, you must commit completely. You must be willing to give up what is safe, comfortable, and predictable. You must accept that every sacrifice, every rejection, every lonely, painful moment is the price of the life you crave. Nothing less will ever bring the freedom, strength, and fulfillment you seek. This is where courage becomes tangible. Courage is not a fleeting feeling. It is a decision repeated over and over. It is the willingness to risk everything you know in order to gain everything you do not yet understand. The mind will scream, the body will resist, and fear will rage, but the choice is yours to make. Every act of bravery, every moment you refuse to settle, compounds into power that no one can take from you. Each payment, no matter how painful, moves you closer to the life that is waiting beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond the familiar. Understand that paying everything is not a punishment. It is the only path to freedom. Every cost endured is proof that you are serious about living fully. Every ounce of discomfort strengthens your resolve. Every loss of comfort, approval, and certainty becomes the doorway to something far greater than you ever imagined. The truth is raw, but it is liberating. Nothing worth having will come cheaply. It will demand everything. And only when you are willing to pay, fully and without hesitation, will you finally claim the life that is truly yours. Every moment you delay, every second you cling to comfort, the price rises. The world does not pause for hesitation. Opportunities do not wait while fear debates with courage. Every choice to remain safe, every decision to avoid discomfort, accumulates into a debt you cannot escape. The harsh truth is that life demands payment, whether you give it willingly or allow it to collect through regret. Nothing in this world of value is free, and the longer you avoid the cost, the heavier it becomes. The path of transformation is not for the faint-hearted. It requires total commitment, absolute surrender, and relentless persistence. You will be asked to let go of what feels familiar, to walk alone when others cling to stagnation, and to endure challenges that test every fiber of your being. This is the price of freedom. This is the cost of living fully. And though it feels immense, it is the only way to escape a life of quiet mediocrity and half-lived potential. Every sacrifice, every pain, every tear you allow yourself to endure now is an investment in a life that will repay you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Your mind will resist. It will fabricate reasons to stop, to retreat, to remain comfortable. This resistance is natural. It is the echo of the old self you have outgrown. It will whisper that the cost is too high, that safety is better than risk, that waiting will make it easier. But waiting is a lie. Waiting strengthens the chains, dulls the fire within, and steals your future. Courage is not something that waits for perfect conditions. It is something that rises in defiance of fear, in defiance of doubt, and in defiance of the comfort that seeks to cage you. Every great achievement, every moment of true fulfillment, has been paid for with relentless commitment. Discipline, courage, loneliness, sacrifice, they are the currencies of transformation, The discomfort is temporary. The struggle is fleeting. The lessons are permanent. And the life that awaits is beyond anything that can be earned without paying the full price. The body may ache, the mind may scream, and the heart may tremble, but every step taken into discomfort builds strength, clarity, and unshakable purpose. Understand that nothing can replace the cost you are willing to pay. Wealth, recognition, and status are hollow if earned without personal transformation. Freedom, power, and fulfillment are priceless, but they come only when you commit completely. To hesitate is to pay with regret. To give up is to pay with a life that never reaches its potential. To endure, to sacrifice, and to rise is to pay with everything and receive in return a life that is unbound, limitless, and wholly yours. The final truth is simple. It will cost you everything, but nothing less will ever set you free.